Good evening and thank you for joining us. In a new development over the controversy surrounding C.K. Hutchison's sale of ports in Panama to an American company, the Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office of the central government has reposted a newspaper article criticizing the deal. The article originally appeared in Tai Kung Po today, with the title, "If Business is Conducted Without Regard to the National Interest, the company's foundation will eventually be destroyed." The article said many people have already pointed out that the company's insistence on completing the sale under America's pressure is short-term thinking. The article said the company in question should stand up to Washington's pressure and stand on the right side of history. Bloomberg reported that C.K. Hutchison and other parties are finalizing transaction terms, including due diligence, tax, and accounting. The report said they are set to sign the agreement by April 2nd as scheduled. It is part of a broader $19 billion deal encompassing the sale of 41 ports owned by C.K. Hutchison. The highly anticipated Hong Kong Rugby Sevens is set to kick off at the Kai Tak Sports Park in just 2 days' time. Some 138,000 spectators are expected to attend the 3-day event. Samantha Lee gives us a preview of the tournament.
The Hong Kong Rugby Sevens will be held at the Kai Tak Sports Park for the first time, having moved from Hong Kong Stadium in Causeway Bay. The event will take place from the 28th to the 30th of March at the new 50,000-seat Kai Tak Main Stadium. With over 90% of tickets already snapped up, the tournament's organizers said they expect around 40,000 spectators per day. In a bid to minimize disruption in the neighborhood, the police said they are not going to take crowd control measures. Spectators are encouraged to take public transport as car parks are not open to the public at the venue. Water bottles and umbrellas exceeding 35 centimeters in length are not allowed inside the stadium. Apart from the matches, ticket holders can also visit the fan village to watch live music performances and buy a drink. There are so many places to have fun inside the Kai Tak Main Stadium, such as this bar called The Champion, which is located on the 2nd floor. The organizer also commented on a cancelled live performance by local music group Rubber Band.
So we made the decision, due to scheduling challenges, not to have any live music inside the main stadium on Friday. Instead, all of our live music acts will be taking place in the fan village, with over 20 musicians and DJs playing throughout the weekend outside in the fan village. So this is an area that we're looking to really grow with future events moving forward.
Fancy dress costumes are always a highlight of the Sevens. However, the organizers stressed any banned items would be confiscated at the stadium's back checkpoint.
Obviously, that's been, a very important part of our event, the carnival-type atmosphere, and we're very pleased to see our fans in fancy dress enjoying themselves in the South Stand, and they have a good idea of what is appropriate and what is not. We have a list of prohibited items on our website, and we'll encourage all of our fans to follow that list to ensure that they're not bringing in any props that won't be allowed into the stadium. If they do, they will be taken off at bag check at entry point.
Samantha Lee, TVB News.
A man was sentenced to life imprisonment after being found guilty of murdering his 3-year-old daughter. The 42-year-old father and deliveryman surnamed Lau shook his daughter violently on numerous occasions between May and July 2020. The latter died from acute brain bleeding on her 3rd birthday after the abuse. Lau admitted to child abuse in November last year and pleaded guilty to involuntary manslaughter before the start of the trial. His guilty plea was not accepted by the prosecution. High Court Judge Anna Lai sentenced him to life imprisonment after the jury unanimously found him guilty of murder last week. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance said he will visit Greenland this week, accompanying a high-profile U.S. delegation to the territory that President Donald Trump says Washington should take over. Nanny Rao tells us more.
U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance announced he's joining a U.S. delegation, including his wife, on a trip to Greenland on Friday.
Hey guys, it's J.D. Vance, the Vice President, and there was so much excitement around Usha's visit to Greenland this Friday that I decided that I didn't want her to have all that fun by herself, and so I'm going to join her.
Vance said during his trip the delegation will check out how things are going there. He said the Trump administration wants to reinvigorate the security of the people of Greenland because it thinks it's important to protecting the security of the entire world. The Vice President's decision to visit a U.S. military base in Greenland has removed the risk of violating potential diplomatic taboos by sending a delegation to another country without an official invite. Trump has irked much of Europe by suggesting the United States should in some form control Greenland, a self-governing mineral-rich territory of American ally Denmark. As the nautical gateway to the Arctic and North Atlantic approaches to North America, Greenland has broader strategic value, as both China and Russia also seek access to its waterways and the nearby natural resources. Ahead of the Vice President's announcement he would join his wife and the U.S. delegation, discontent from the governments of Greenland and Denmark had been mounting. Greenland's government said it had not extended any invitations for any U.S. visits, neither private nor official. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen told Danish national broadcast the U.S. visit was unacceptable pressure. Dan Orell, TVB News.
A doctor from the Gemelli Hospital in Rome said Pope Francis came so close to death at one point during his 38-day fight against pneumonia that his doctors considered ending treatment so he could die in peace. After a breathing crisis on February 28th that involved the Pope nearly choking on his vomit, physician Sergio Alfieri said there was a real risk he might not make it. We had to choose if we would stop there and let him go, or go forward and push it with all the drugs and therapies possible, running the highest risk of damaging his other organs, the doctor said. The 88-year-old pontiff returned to the Vatican on Sunday after the most serious illness of his 12-year papacy. The Hospital Authority has announced an expanded fee waiver mechanism, which includes a relaxation of income and asset requirements for applicants. Authorities believe some 1.4 million people will benefit from the measure. Timothy Lee reports.
The Hospital Authority addressed application details for the expanded fee waiver mechanism under its reform of healthcare. They noted that unmarried adults who live with their parents could still be classified as being part of a family in the waiver scheme. According to the latest adjustments to the scheme's income requirements, restrictions have been lifted from an upper limit of 75% to 100% of the median household income. The limit for personal income has also increased to 150% of the median figure. For example, the scheme now pertains to a working individual who makes an income of up to $15,150 compared with the previous $7,575. For families including 2 individuals or above, the measure applies to those with a median household income of a maximum of $22,600 compared with the earlier $16,950. Regarding assets, adjustments were made according to an applicant's public housing application qualifications. That means a family comprising 2 people without elderly residents could apply for the fee waiver scheme if they own assets valued below $387,000. The effectiveness of the expanded measure will also extend from the current 12 months to 18 months. Residents could also apply for the program via social workers in the healthcare sector or the Ikshay Go mobile app. Some 1.4 million people are expected to benefit from the scheme's expansion. Meanwhile, health authorities said they have faith that the $10,000 annual limit mechanism introduced for patients in the reform plan will not be abused. They added that those eligible for the fee waiver scheme do not need to save that amount of money. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
TVB has reported a jump in EBITDA, or the operating cash profits, in 2024, marking a notable turnaround from losses the year before. The adjusted net profit attributable to equity holders reached $53 million in the second half of 2024. For 2025, the broadcaster is also expected to record a net profit. In 2024, the total revenue of core TV-related businesses of TVB increased by $294 million, or 10%, to $3,131 million, with a surge in EBITDA by $435 million year-on-year. That's driven mainly by the 17% revenue growth in both Hong Kong TV broadcasting segment and the mainland China operations segment. TVB's digital assets saw over 23 million average monthly active users, notching an 81% increase from the previous year. Thomas Hui, executive chairman of TVB, said the market share of TVB's self-operated terrestrial channels rose to 79%, which he said affirmed TVB's status as Hong Kong's leading platform for entertainment and information. Art Basel Hong Kong 2025 will start on Friday at the Convention and Exhibition Center. TVB News had a sneak peek at the art extravaganza. Among the centerpieces of this year's Art Basel Hong Kong are these iconic self-portraits of prominent contemporary Chinese artist Yue Minjun, represented by these manically laughing men in oil paintings, and sculptures, which aim to satirize the onslaught of consumerism in the early 1990s and the sense of listlessness amid China's economic reform. And the realistic depiction of Hong Kong Museum of Art 2014 by local artist Chow Chun-fai. These striking modernist sculptures by another homegrown artist, Christopher Ho, explore the possibilities of form, shapes, and geometry with meticulous processes of casting, laser cutting, and milling. The event features more than 240 exhibitors from 42 countries and territories. 23 galleries made their maiden appearance at the event this year. Guided tours are offered.
That I really enjoy, to discover the young generations and what they are expressing, like according to the trend, the society, emotions.
I think it's very vibrant, and what's really interesting, especially coming from Europe, is that mixture of more Asian galleries and, of course, Western galleries, but with some works that we don't see in Europe, so it really is very appealing.
Some galleries said despite the global economic situation, Hong Kong's role as an international art hub remains robust.
Hong Kong is still have very strong character at globally, because we have a tax-free, and then we have a very productive logistic-wise, and everything's very smooth. Hong Kong people are always very productive, fast, efficient, flexible. Everything else combined is very helpful on the trading process.
Hong Kong has played host to Art Basel since 2013. This year's tickets are only available online, while some premium packages are priced at nearly $20,000. General tickets cost around $400 with concessions offered to students, the elderly, and the disabled. And that's the news. Thank you for watching.